Now, St. Thomas Aquinas distinguishes between two types of happiness. Both are good, by the way, not a good and bad. But what he calls perfect happiness, which is beatitudo, and imperfect happiness, felicitas, felicity. Beatitudo is obtained in the final beatific vision in God, and it is that which orders everything else in this life. Since perfect happiness is the perfect possession of God, or the perfect seeing of God, or the beatific vision that is obtained in heaven, and therefore that is obtained in heaven. However, St. Thomas says, there is imperfect happiness. Imperfect in the sense that it is in this world. Happiness in the sense that, of course, it leads to and participates in the perfect fulfillment that God wants to give us and to which he has called us from the very beginning. Felicitas, he says, can be obtained through the virtues, because felicitas has to do with the fulfillment of our nature as human beings. See, it doesn't just lie in pleasures, in bodily pleasure, because we share that with the animal kingdom. Dogs get pleasure, cats get pleasure, birds get pleasure, but there's something more, though, to us. Our nature is different. What makes us distinct is our intellect and will. And so, that is why the virtues, the intellectual, the moral virtues, and then the theological virtues are the paths to our happiness in this world. The intellectual, moral, and theological virtues are the paths to felicitas, to happiness in this world. Prudence, temperance, justice, fortitude, the human virtues, the cardinal virtues. The theological virtues, faith, hope, and love. They perfect the will. Because we are creatures of the intellect and will, that makes us distinct and special. So in our distinctness, we can be fulfilled in those virtues. So the good life is a virtuous life. That's why the Catechism, and that's why Aquinas, he spent 60 questions almost speaking of happiness and the virtues before he goes on to speak of the commandments and the prohibitions. Because the reason for these things is happiness. That is the ultimate end of human life, he says. Everything else we do, they can be good, but they are not the ultimate ends. Making money is a good thing, but you don't make money for its own sake. You make money for the sake of something else. Until you reach happiness. If you ask me, why do you want to be happy? There is no other explanation but that I want to be happy. That is why it is the last end, the last purpose. And it is not antithetical to who God is and the beatific vision. It is one and the same. My happiness lies in the beatific vision. I want to be happy, and therefore I seek the paths to that happiness. St. Thomas goes along to show how certain counterfeits to the paths that lead to happiness do not work, because they are all creaturely, and he goes to speak about certain things such as power, fame, honor. These things are not the paths to happiness, because the more you get of it, the more you want. You're never quite fulfilled in it, and you never get it for its own sake. You get it for the sake of something else until you get to the true happiness, which can be obtained through the virtues in this world and the beatific vision in the world to come. He also speaks of other goods, such as wealth, whether it's created wealth, a special kind of wealth, such as your health, that's a sort of richness, St. Thomas says, or money to get things, to gold or whatever. But these things also, they're all finite, and none of them can satisfy fully. But many people, though, seek their total satisfaction in these things that are finite, and therefore they are left wanting more, obviously. And that more that they want is God.